Hello everybody and welcome. I wanted to make this short little video just to help provide your group with some structure if you might need to refresh some of the instructions that I just went over at the beginning of class. So in this activity what you're going to be doing is applying the geologic terms that you learned yesterday as part of the 5.1 geologic terms go formative. So you were exploring what do we mean by transgressions, regressions, and analyzing cross-sections to describe the history of a certain area. For this activity, first you're going to want to work through an action plan. That means first establishing roles for each group member. You should have already established a logistic master and they should be the owner of this document. They're going to be the primary individual who's taking care of logistics. So in terms of the presentation, sharing the presentation, and making edits to this presentation. I only want the logistic masters to access this presentation because that'll help to decrease the amount of people on the presentation at one single time. The second thing is the architect, or well, the other two pieces mainly are the architect and the analyzer. The architect's primary goal is leading the discussion and creating your own cross-section as a group. The analyzer is then going to help lead the discussion on analyzing another group's created cross-section to create a geologic history. Of course, you're all working together to do this, but I'm adding primary leads for each section. The last leader is the reviewer. So once somebody has already proposed a geologic history for your created cross-section, you're going to go back and check to see if they did it correctly. You also want to double check that we're following all the expectations outlined in this presentation for the activity. Now, some groups won't have 4 people, and that's okay. The reviewer is just going to lump into the logistics master if you don't have a 4th group member. The second thing that you're going to need to do as a logistics master is you're going to need to create a copy of the Google Draw template. It's not linked on this page, but it is linked on the navigation mainframe 2 slides ahead of this, where you will be creating your own geologic cross-section. So make sure, I would go ahead and screen share that if you can, depending on your internet capabilities or what works best for your group. I would share screen it if you can. If you can't, I understand. But what you're going to be doing is working on that Google Draw document together to create a geologic cross-section. And I'll go over the expectations for it in just a second. Now, once you've completed your Google Draw, what I want you to do is you're going to post an image to this slideshow so that the other groups can see it, and I'll assign another group to review it. Once you finish that, we might be waiting just a little bit. There might be some wait time in between while groups are finishing up their cross-sections. Feel free to go ahead and start the video on 7.2. You're watching up to 10 minutes in, so you could go ahead and start it. Make sure to take notes on some of the key features that they're talking about Boulder, Colorado, because you're going to need it for the assignment following this one. Lastly, you're going to analyze another group's cross-section to see if you can propose the accurate geologic history. Now pay attention, of course, you're all trying to find ways to challenge each other, so pay attention for any traps that the other group might have put in there. And then once you're finished on your group page, which I'll show you in just a moment, you're going to put a thumbs up in the upper right hand corner just to notify me that you've completed your geologic history or you've analyzed the geologic history of the other group. So then I can pull everybody back once everybody has finished analyzing their assigned group. Okay, so that's your action plan, what you're going to be working through. Now, individual expectations for each piece. First, the cross-section that you're going to be creating. So I have some minimum expectations. I don't want any more than 10 total layers just because I don't want it to be too complicated. The layers can be consistent of anything. You can use sandstone, limestone, shale, or unlayered rock if you'd like, or meaning non-sedimentary rock if you'd like, so something that was formed, not deposited. You can use any combination of them, how many ever you'd like of each. No requirements. I do want there to be at least one cross-cutting relationship, so intrusion, faulting, shifting, anything like that. At least one unconformity. It could be a particular type of unconformity, or it could just be a standard unconformity. Ensure that you're illustrating the layers using proper patterns. So you know the proper patterns for limestone, shale, and sandstone, so please ensure that you're following that in your illustrations that you're creating. Make sure that you also number your layers to help the other group in their descriptions in writing a geologic history so that they can reference the layers more easily. And feel free to have some fun. Add a challenge, add a little trap in there to make sure that the other groups are analyzing your cross-section correctly. Okay, again, once you finish that, you're going to post that to this presentation. And this is where you're going to be posting it. So each group has been assigned a group page. Each group page consists of two primary things: the cross-section that you created and geologic history. So the geologic cross-section, that's where you're going to post your image from Google Draw. You can go ahead and right-click on the box that's already there and hit replace image, and you can upload the image that you created from Google Draw. You don't need to include the assignments of each leadership role. That's fine. The geologic history section is not where you're going to type, because some other group is going to be assigned to your geologic history, and my apologies, and they're going to be typing the geologic history there. The last little thing that you're going to notice is up in the right hand corner, this little box. My apologies, sorry. That is where you're going to put the thumbs up indicator to let me know that you've finished. Lastly, you'll have your navigation mainframe. This is where you can click to access each group's individual page, as well as the Google Draw template so that you can begin. If you have any questions, of course, just click request host and I'll jump in your group to help you out. But otherwise, good luck, and I hope that you make some awesome geologic cross sections for other groups to analyze.